Now that Tesla's Robotaxi service is official, let's take a look at what we can look forward to in the coming months. First, how big of a milestone was this exactly? Let's rewatch a short clip of Elon Musk just a few months ago saying what will happen and what will happen to your stock. Second, Tesla Asia just posted a video saying the future autonomy is arriving soon. Tesla Asia? Third, Waymo has announced they're now live in Atlanta. Let's recap all the cities they're in now. Fourth, let's watch a video of the CEO of EVauto.com to hear his thoughts on the scaling of Robotaxi. And finally, let's revisit what Elon said about how Tesla cars will be priced once they're fully autonomous that can function as Robotaxis. And to help us do this today is Brian White, the host of a YouTube channel called FutureAza. One of the best channels out there, deep dive interviews, and he has special scoops interviewing anything that matters to electric vehicles, autonomy, and everything. Thank you so much, Brian.
Great to be here. I mean, my gosh, what a week. Was there any news? I must have missed it.
Well, let's recap it. That's what we're doing here today. Yeah. Okay, so the first one is this. This is a just in March. Right? It is 2025, right?
Right.
This is just a couple months ago at the all hands meeting. This is what Elon said. I do like rewatching a video because at the time when you listen to it, many of us are going, sure. Yeah.
Sure.
A couple months later, much of it is true or going to be true. So let's listen to what he says.
Nothing like that has ever happened before. There is no analogy that there's never been something where a software update increased the value of a gigantic asset base by a factor of like 500 to 1,000%. So it's very difficult for people in the stock market, especially those that look in the rearview mirror, which is most people, to imagine a future where suddenly a 10 million vehicle fleet has 5 to 10 times the usefulness. It's so profound, and there's no comparison with anything in the past that they just can't. It does not compute, but it will compute in the future. And some people like Kathy Wood at ARK Invest do see the future. So what I'm saying is, hang on to your stock.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, I do think that many people cannot imagine what can happen. They discount it immediately. And of course, here we are, right? Now they'll say, yeah, okay, there's 10 cars. But they don't compute in their head. They cannot see that, no, this shows you that any Tesla that comes out of the factory can be put into a Robotaxi service. And it's already driving around doing thousands of drives at this point today, thousands of drives. And so you can understand that my car, your car that we have now, can do this as well. So
I heard someone say it would have been a bigger flex if they used the Cybercab, to which someone else on X said, to which someone else on X said, is it? Because these are cars. These are the cars that they're already making. These aren't imaginary, untested, unproven vehicles. You can get one today. Apparently, it's got a couple small changes that will be added to all cars, but very, very minor modifications. These cars, starting in a week, should be able to roll out of the factory and not stop rolling. Just keep going to work. And that is, to me, a much bigger flex. Yeah, the Cybercab will be cool, but today's not the day, and that's fine. If you had to have an observer with you in the vehicle, there would be no plus ones. That would be a drawback. So I think this is, in many ways, an even bigger deal that they're using the car that you and I already have.
I like that a lot, Brian. You just, again, blew my mind there. Yes. Yes, I agree with you. That's so good.
And I would say that when Elon made a statement in March, a lot of people did discount it because he has said 2 weeks a number of times. He has said definitely by the end of next year a number of times. He's playing the greatest hits. But the reality is at some point we do get caught up to those dates. And like you and I have said a number of times, when it's Tesla AI setting the deadlines, they are hit.
Yes. They seem to be hitting. Yeah, that's right.
Because they have to answer to him. And And he's
No,
a tough
I think what
boss.
it is that, yeah, okay. No, I think that's what it is. I was going to say that when it comes to AI, they can actually see a little bit ahead because they're already using the tool. They have a better sense, but it is AI. So then I figured, okay, you're right. Maybe that is harder to predict the future. But
Yeah,
this is
maybe.
this is a
And
big deal.
I've had people saying, well, but why is the stock still so high when I've lost faith? When you've lost faith? Well, I don't know you, so I can't speak for you. But it's because for the longest time, Alexandra Mertz covered this very well, institutional investors hadn't bought in. They were at like 30% of outstanding shares were institutional. That's very low for a mega cap. And are they catching on? Or are they catching up? Because now it's 60% institutional investors, which means for every share you're selling off, Mr. Doubting Thomas,
Guess who's buying it? Yep.
guess who's buying it? Somebody who has a longer term vision, who has better analysts, better predictive models, perhaps, who can actually see it today. And they're more likely to make their decision to buy and hold or sell on technicals rather than emotion.
All right. So that was fun. That's Elon saying that. You've got this guy from XAI saying, I think people undervalue the Tesla Robotaxi event. It took 10 years, right, to go from 0 to 1, meaning that it was like talking about it. Now 1 means it's actually alive in the world. And because Tesla's approach scales easier, I bet 1 gets to, some sort of infinity number here will be much quicker than Waymo's. So this scaling is going to be, it takes you 10 years to get to just being live, but to scale, that's going to be quicker. And I think that that's absolutely true because that is the way Elon created Tesla. Tesla from first principles was all about how to scale the fastest way, right? So I'm not going to use these cars that I need to outfit with expensive lidars and so forth. That's going to take us time to take every car that's out there and add stuff to it. I'm going to take, it has to be just vision cameras and got to work. And so here's Elon saying, yep, that's dead on. That's correct. Then we have Tesla Asia dropping this. The future of autonomy is arriving soon. Vision is the way to go. Let's watch. Why did Tesla Asia be the one to drop this? Interesting.
What will the future look like? 5 years from now, autonomous Teslas will be everywhere. The future is autonomous. The solution that we have for full self-driving is AI and vision. The way that the road system is designed is for intelligence, biological neural net, and eyes. Not designed for shooting lasers out of your eyes. So do you believe the camera or do you believe the Lidar? So vision is the way to go. There's no expensive equipment needed. The Model 3 and Model Y and S and X that we make today will be capable of full autonomy unsupervised. With each release, you'll see there's a big improvement. It's headed towards unsupervised full self-driving at an exponential pace. As always, we care a lot about safety. It's not that Tesla full self-driving will be equal to humans in safety. It will naturally be, like I said, 10, 20, 30 times safer than a human. We actually have the cars driving from end of line to park themselves. And I'm confident also that the first Model Y will drive itself all the way to the customer. So our autonomous future is here. And it's really about sustainable abundance. With Optimus and self-driving, the future is incredibly bright and exciting. And we're going to do things that no one has even dreamed of. It will happen.
Yeah.
Wild.
Ooh, that was just what they dropped a few days ago.
Yeah. When a lot of us got the Cybercab instantly. We understood it. We know what's going on here. You talked about scale. Scale is the key. Now, we don't know on the software side what the scale limitations are for Tesla or Waymo or anybody. We've had a bit of a look behind the curtain for a number of the Chinese manufacturers who are working on autonomy, and their systems today are not scalable. But we can see, at least in the US, the hardware side. And Tesla, of course, has infinite scale at their disposal. If they wanted to make an extra 5,000 vehicles a week to deploy as cabs, they could. There's no Robovin today, but there could be an extra 5,000 Robotaxis. I'm not sure how he wants us to say it. I'm just going to take a cautious approach. Well, I don't know. I'm just being safe. But the hardware is all there. It's solved. We don't need to go out and find a new manufacturer. When I made a video explaining the financial difference between Tesla's approach and Waymo's approach, someone said, well, yeah, the I-Pace is $72,000, but what makes you think they're not going to use a $20,000 car next? And I said, because they've published their roadmap. There's no their next vehicle. I mean, they might be doing the Hyundai in the interim, but they want to do the Zeekr, which is way more expensive than an I-Pace. And let's say, and as you and I discussed, even if that I-Pace was free, even if that Zeekr was free, the efficiency per mile is terrible compared to to a cybercab. So I don't see how anyone but an original equipment manufacturer like Tesla can scale. Waymo has too many fingers in the pie. They've got the car maker who wants a profit. They've got Magna who wants a profit on the upfit. They've got Uber who wants a cut of the ride. Uber, I don't know if they would have even let them do the Robotaxi rides for $420. Uber wants more than $420 out of a ride. So it's all pretty different when you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Waymo is expanding. Let's take a look at what they're doing. So they announced this, right? That they say the A is going autonomous, which is Atlanta. Waymo rides are now live in Atlanta, only on Uber. So in some cities, you have to download the Uber app. And then when you select a car, then sometimes you might get a Waymo, but you can't choose. You could say, oh, I want more of the Waymos. Then maybe you might get lucky with a lottery, but that's because they don't have enough cars, and that's how they do it. And let's take a look at
Yes, and that's how they mitigate weather, is by letting some poor human operate their vehicle full meat driven in inclement weather when no one should be driving.
I better turn down the music here. So Waymo's now available to all only on Uber. This is their service area. You may get matched with the Waymo car the next time you request an Uber ride. Get more Waymo rides. Yeah. See you out there, Atlanta. So they make these announcements. They get out there. They try to say, that they're 65 square miles. So it's a decent location. That's a good starting point. Just like we said last show, that it's okay that these guys are just launching and there's going to be a smaller area. That's good.
Yes, I would say I'm absolutely convinced that 65 miles is where the majority of rides would need to be anyway.
Yeah. So you got so Waymo today is existing in Phoenix, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, and now Atlanta. So they've expanded. Now they've been out for 12 years. They've been very slow to grow, but here they are. Tesla Robotaxi City is just awesome, and it's just a handful of cars. The question is, what happens and how quickly? So yes, we are slow. Tesla is behind Waymo, true, but how much longer? How long?
And that's the real thing. This is not a sprint; it's a marathon. Here's the objective, you guys. Whoever can get to the 100-mile mark first wins. So one guy takes off on foot. I can make it in a couple days. I can do this. The other guy says, well, there's a bicycle here, but it's broken. I'm going to fix that. He takes a whole day to fix that bicycle, and he wins the race. But here's the reality. It's not a 100-mile race. It's an infinity race. And even if that guy on foot had managed to make it there first, when the guy on the bicycle catches up, he's going to scream past him and never look back. Yeah, and that's what we're seeing.
Very good. Yeah, that's a very good analogy there. All right, let's watch this. CEO of EVauto.com explaining why scale may be Tesla's biggest advantage. Yeah, it's just another one where you hear the bias of the interviewer.
When you think about Tesla and Waymo, just a couple questions on that. Tesla's way behind Waymo in terms of the self-driving technology and being fully autonomous. There's still a driver behind it. What's up with the rain? Why can't it go out in the rain? How would you compare the two, and how long will it take Tesla to quote unquote catch up to Waymo?
Yeah, so I would disagree that they're way behind. I think Tesla is just being ultra careful. Um, as somebody who's been using self-driving for many, many years, all the iterations of it, it can absolutely drive in the rain. It can absolutely have a person not in the car. You got to remember there's millions and millions and millions of miles every single day that's going into this system that is exactly the same as the cars are using.
Yeah.
Okay, so the learning curve is exponentially faster. And so these cars are going to get way smarter, way quicker. And you can also argue about the different technologies, radar and lidar versus Tesla Vision and stuff. And you can go back and forth on which is better. I think they're both good. I think the vision side learns faster, and again just accelerates that learning curve. And if you also, we can talk about the Airbnb thing a little bit, but if you think about the costs, I mean, a Tesla can make a Robotaxi car for like 25,000. Waymo's cost them 100 grand. So, and Waymos don't have this army of the number one selling car in the world, the Tesla Model Y, that they can turn on. So you play those two things together, a fourth of the price, millions more cars on the road, millions of more hours of learning, and the capital that Tesla has, and Waymo is screwed, and so is Uber and Lyft. I mean, it's going to be so much cheaper than an Uber, and it's going to be so much more available. Once you get over that there's not a driver, why in the world would you make another choice? Faster, cheaper, better? I mean,
you see how some
really
people,
good.
It was really good, his answer. But it's like, also on the other side, this is how most people just don't really know like the facts or anything. They just assume Waymo's already out there. They got multiple cities. They're way ahead. You need LiDAR. Tesla can't, I mean, it's just the misunderstanding out there is huge. And this guy explains it really, really well.
That was great. And there's a lot of pushback I see from people who are in the legacy car business, especially from the dealer side, because the dealer guys are the ones who make the real money. If you own 10, 20 dealerships, if you own 2, 1 even, you're probably making millions a year, and you're in danger because, first of all, you will never own a Tesla franchise. You will never become a Tesla dealer unless you want to sell used ones. Maybe do that. And maybe people aren't going to be buying cars anymore. Certainly not in the numbers they were before. And wouldn't it be great?
We'll talk about that
when you get into you get into the dealership and the process, the pay is so painful. You could just say, I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna hop in a cybercab, go home, and never come back.
Oh. All right. We have heard him say that LiDAR versus vision. They're both works. Let's listen yet again for what Elon said on this. You've got Omar saying someone should tell them you don't need all that shit. This is Omar listening to, I think, his own, and he's looking at that. That's the Waymo. There's lots of Waymos in Austin, and that you got that you make fun of them all the time. But look at all the things that are on that thing. That's a Robotaxi in Austin. In the meantime, guess what's driving in Austin as well, right? It's our Tesla Robotaxis are driving now too. Elon replied saying, "It will seem silly that people even thought all that hardware was ever needed."
I have a question, which is, have we done pedestrian impact safety tests with all that extra junk on the car? Because a car is designed in such a way that if it hits you, you should kind of deflect off of it. But now you're going to get hit by the big, giant LiDAR poking out. Yeah. And it's not, has it been tested? I have not seen any evidence that it has. This concerns me from a person who walks outside perspective. I don't. And where are all the safety crybabies about that? Silent. Exactly. Even their crickets have gone silent.
The crickets are silent. They're sleeping. Tesla AI said this: cars can drive themselves just fine without needing to wear a helm. And that's, I mean, I don't know. I guess people just won't believe it. LiDAR, LiDAR, LiDAR. You need LiDAR. Okay, well, we've got already 7 million cars that are, how many of them are using FSD? And then you've got cars now autonomously in Austin. Soon, no, you still need LiDAR. When will they stop saying it?
If LiDAR was a silver bullet, we wouldn't see the kind of errors that we see from Waymo. And
because again, just to clarify, yeah, I think you're about to say it, right? The errors are not because of vision or not being able to see something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not due to a lack of perception. It's due to poor decision making. And
Nicely
the
said.
decision making you can solve in software. And perception is already thorough. It is robust in both systems. I just don't understand the obsession comes from people who don't know better.
Yeah, they think LiDAR is the silver bullet, and it's not. It's just one part of it, which is perception. Don't hit something. But the other part that you really need is the intelligence of what's happening in the context and the car knowing what to do and not to do. That part. So they need both, but you don't need LiDAR to see if something's there or not there. So this is very interesting. I wanted to bring this back up and have this conversation with you because now that the reality is here, the reality is that we are now watching in front of us a regular Tesla. These Teslas that they're using at the Austin Robotaxi launch are regular Teslas. Elon just confirmed that. These are Teslas that are coming out of the factory, and they go, okay, I want to take 10 of them, and we're going to put into the Robotaxi program. Our cars can at any time be added. Now, they won't do that till next year. Not saying that, my car, but the car itself is ready. So will consumers be able to buy a Tesla? What will happen to the price? And look at what Elon said in 2019. He said, to be clear, consumers will still be able to buy a Tesla, but the clearing price will rise significantly because a fully autonomous car that can function as robotaxi is several times more valuable than a non-autonomous car. I just want to remind people, this was 2019. I don't know if it still exists today, but that's 6 years ago. Once your car, my car can become autonomous, do you think that when you want to buy one of these cars, they'll still be just $40,000 when it can make you, 30 grand a year or whatever it is, right?
I'm going to argue that they will still be affordable. In 2019, what Tesla had going on was a demand tidal wave. They could not keep up with demand. So in those days, Tesla would have had to choose between selling it to you or putting it into service. And now they've got more production capacity, a lot more. They've got idle production capacity. It is very likely that they could satisfy the demand for both markets with today's capacity.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is it. It's just interesting that we're actually here, right? All these things that we were talking about before. One day cars will drive themselves. One day Tesla will not just be a car vendor selling car making $7,000 one-time margin. Now they're going to turn into a sustainable, software as a business. So this weekend on Sunday, they started getting cash from consumers. I paid them $4.50 per ride times 10 rides, $45 they got from me for this, for that one day. They're
$4.50 or 20 cents?
Oh, sorry, 20 cents. Yeah, sorry. For less than 20 cents. Yeah. And then so now some institutional analyst going, okay, darn it, there's a real line item here. I better put it in. And then they'll say, oh, no, it's only $4.20. And, if I apply 10% growth every, you know how they are, like they can't realize what this actually means.
Well, I don't think the rides will remain 420.
I know. Exactly.
I'm confident that was to validate all the things that could go wrong in the payment app and the back end of that. So it's fine.
It's fine. Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate you going back to memory lane here. What happened? This is Brian. Check him out on his YouTube channel, FutureAza. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.